Lake Effect brings you conversations about what's happening in Milwaukee and the people, places, and organizations that shape our community. This is Lake Effect Spotlight from WUWM, Milwaukee's NPR.
There are countless stories from Milwaukee area residents about what unfolded in the early morning hours of Sunday, as waters quickly rose and many basements filled with water. Here's Wauwatosa resident Jessica Young sharing her experience with WUWM's Eric Vaughn Fellow Maria Peralta Ariano.
We actually came back from vacation Saturday afternoon and knew that there were storms we were in Door County, right? So we knew it was coming this way. We probably went to sleep around midnight. In the middle of the night, I saw there were flash flood warnings, but there always are, and during some storms in the summer. And I know that the Menominee River had flooded like maybe 10 years ago, 15 years ago, but they, put extra ponds and other things in place to help it from overflowing. But I didn't realize that the flash flood was like, unprecedented, check your basement. So we woke up at about 6:30, and we have a multi-level house, and the ground level had about 2.5 or 3 feet of water in it. And my son, he's 3, he came up the stairs. He was excited, like he thought it was a pool. And I was floored because I opened the blinds and, couldn't see like the cars across the street. The water was halfway up the cars. I couldn't see my plants outside. Half of the basketball hoop was covered. It was like that happens in movies or in other states on the news, And then we have a glass window right by our door. It was like waves were crashing up against it all day. So that was crazy. But it was like our gauge of if the water was rising. And then it's, do you panic or what do you do? I don't even know. I called my sister and she's like, oh, call 911. I totally forgot that was a thing. And they told me that, the firefighters were in the area responding to other houses, and just to not go in the water and to call back if the water was rising. Right. And so it was so strange I could see where I live, the parkway, the river is like west of me, and there's maybe 3 roads in different directions to the east of me, and I could see a block up that there was dry land. And so tons of neighbors and people were just standing out there, but there was no way we could open any of our doors or even do anything. Plus the electricity was on, which was amazing. We were very lucky, but that's scary because I don't know what's going to happen. And so we saw a couple of boats going by with people with life jackets and dogs. I could see Menominee River Parkway that the water was moving south, that it was fast. It was going fast. So at least I knew there was movement to some extent. Most of my neighbors live in ranch, one-level houses. So it was definitely more of an issue for them where they had to get out. Granted, it was fine. They were all going out and getting all of the one-level houses, So I kept seeing neighbors getting taken away to the dry land. The water wasn't rising, but you kept seeing storms are coming, and I was freaking out because you're in shock mode of like, what do I do here? Do we stay in our house because everything's working? But I don't want it to be like the middle of the night. We wake up and when my husband woke me up, I was like, oh, just get the shop back. I thought it was like a little bit got through the bottom cracks of the doors. And I couldn't believe it. And I'm so glad that I don't even know if it was firefighters, rescuers, all the people, there were police, that they knew what to do because we're just not an area that has lots of flooding. And so I was a little bit nervous that the people who had to rescue us maybe wouldn't know what to do because it's crazy. I was trying to look stuff up and keep my son calm. And then, some of our neighbors were kayaking around, checking on each other, which it just brought me to tears. It's so sweet. And then a boat came for us, and we kind of just talked to them through the window. We had been packing for various scenarios of is this going to get fixed soon? And do we have to go to a hotel? Let's pack some luggage or take what we just came back from vacation on. Or are we going to have to go out the window in a boat? And what do we need to take with us? And it was surreal. I still am in shock. I think I only cried for the first time a little bit a few minutes ago. And then, we went in a boat and they rowed us out or walked us out. I think the water was like waist deep, so it wasn't moving too fast, but they walked us out to dry land, and then they drove us up the hill, and then the firefighters were there, and there was like, you know, an ambulance and just all sorts of helpers, and the streets were blocked, and people were everywhere. It was every single place there was dry land. There were people bicycling around, checking things out. As we were riding away on the boat, all of our neighbors were waving at us like we were celebrities. It was just a really sweet moment of, you know, just connection of like, hey, we'll see you soon when the water is down, and then you can come back to your house. And then we got out, and luckily I had someone to pick us up so we could rent a car and go to a hotel. And it started raining right before we got in the car. It was crazy. So we didn't even know what damage was done or how much was in the basement, or, you know, I don't know. It's wild. It's still crazy. I don't understand it.
So from the time that, you know, you guys realized that your basement was flooding to the point of evacuation via boat, how long were you guys in the house and kind of watching the water and making sure that things didn't go any further than what it already had?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we got up about 6:30 a.m. and so we're on our top floor, and we came to the main floor, and our ground floor, which is just like the entryway and kind of like the mud room to go to the backyard, was already flooded. So we couldn't even get down to see that the basement was flooding. Like, we had no clue, because we went to bed around midnight. Like, we had no clue any water was coming in anywhere. We didn't hear the sump pump overworking or anything before we went to bed. So it was just there, and we couldn't see anything. That was about 6:30. And then the boat maybe came around 11-ish. I mean, it's so surreal to have your house flooded, but like, we made some coffee and tried to eat some breakfast, but I could not swallow anything. I was sick to my stomach. And then, you know, watching other people get taken away, and we took some pictures we had a couple stairs going down into the entryway so we could check and see if it was rising. And there was a point a couple of hours in where it did go up a step, but then by the time we left the house, which was about 11-ish, the water had gone down a step. So it was going up from like 6 to 9 a.m. maybe, and then already coming down by 11. And the parkway in front of my house wasn't flooded, and the water had fully receded from my house by like 7:30 p.m., which is just unbelievable to me. So whatever they did and however things work, I mean, the amount of water that was here to not be at my house in less than 24 hours is absolutely wild.
For sure, yeah. So what did coming home look like? Were you guys inspecting the damage? What was the damage looking like?
Oh my gosh, we just did that. Like, I'm at my house now. We had our insurance adjuster here. It's so weird because, like, we had some planted pots that barely moved. We had these like light up little lighters to light the trail to our house, or the sidewalk to our house, that were laying in the garden and hadn't moved, but they were cheap plastic. We don't know where our garbage can is. The recycling bin had floated halfway down the block, and then as it receded, it came right back into our driveway somehow. So that was crazy. And then, like, 2 feet up on our house is wet. Our cars are totaled. One of them is brand new. So when we moved here, like, there's a lot next to our house that was always in the flood zone. And so, like, the city bought that lot, and then our house is like right outside of it. So, like, we were advised we don't need to get flood insurance. So we don't have any. And so luckily, I think they said the cars will be covered, but like nothing in the house is going to be. It's like a storm, a storm was in here. Like, things floated to weird places. Our carpeting, I think, floated off of the ground, and like, I don't think it's connected to the ground anymore. There were like toys and things from the backyard and the front yard. It kind of feels like a tornado on the inside, right? Like, there's weird boxes that I don't know where they came from that are sitting here. One shoe is randomly over here, and there's garbage everywhere and like mud. There's like kind of like a silt everywhere. And then the basement is, I don't know what the right word is, but totaled. Like, part of the basement had like that corkboard ceiling, and I could see looking down the stairs that it had completely like caved in. You know, it's our storage space. Like we have a little playroom for my son, and all I saw was cardboard from something that's all over the floor, broken up. We had a refrigerator down there, and it toppled over, and it broke our water heater, which is leaking. Both of our dryer and washing machine, which are also new, must have been floating around because they're both sit over on their sides. Our furnace, which is, you know, about the age that maybe you need to get a new one, but that's totaled. We can't even get to it because of the amount of stuff that floated around it. And so it's completely blocked for anyone to do or fix anything. So it's maybe the third time in like the 15 years I've been with my husband that I've seen him cry, like hard, because we were already putting some of my son's childhood stuff, you know, stuff that he still plays with because he's a kid, but, you know, on the curb. It's a huge blessing. The city's going to be picking up stuff off the curb this week, so that's amazing. But, you know, like, we're throwing away so many things. We're safe, and that's really what's important. But it's been very, very emotional. My office is, I don't know, it's my first floor. I never thought anything would be an issue. So, like, my dad's ashes were in it. Like, I don't know how contained that is or if the water got in it. Photos, family things. Maybe it was stupid, but I was working in my our safe, you know, and I put some documents away, left it open. And so like all of our birth certificates, all the licenses, marriage licenses, and important things that we have are all ruined.
I'm so sorry to hear about everything that has been damaged or has to be thrown out now, or, you know, just straight up ruined.
Thank you.
So I really am sorry to hear that. So after you guys are done assessing everything, do you guys have a game plan of where to go from here?
Yeah, it's literally moment by moment. So it's crazy because I've probably called 10 like water removal because we didn't know if we had water, and the water is gone in the basement, but didn't know if we needed that. Like water removal and like mitigation companies. And there was a couple where like the voicemail was full. There was a couple I had to leave messages. There were a couple of larger companies that I've called, you know, at like 6 a.m, and they haven't gotten back to me because they're busy. They have, you know, and that's what I heard. A couple people that I was able to get a hold of, like, she said there's like 1,000 clients in front of me. And so they can't even call me back for 72 hours to then let me know when they could possibly come. I know they're doing their best, but it's insane. It's insane. We went to Target last night to try to get some things to like make some normalcy for my son while we're living out of the hotel. And you could hear everybody in Target, like everyone I was next to, they were talking about, oh, there weren't any dehumidifiers. Okay, well, we got to get some shoes for the day because all of our stuff was ruined. Or like everyone was there for that is what it felt like. And in the meantime, I have friends who maybe just had some little damage in their basement, and which is still horrible and rough to deal with, but like dehumidifiers aren't available. Fans are sold out. Sump pumps, the shop vacs are sold out, like everywhere. So like I have a friend of mine whose mom lives in Beaver Dam who's going to get me a dehumidifier and bring it down. Like luckily we have people who can lend us stuff, and I have seen some really great, like there's a Buy Nothing, like BUY Nothing Wauwatosa group, and I've seen a bunch of strangers posting like, what can I do? How can I help? List what you need that was ruined, and maybe people in this group can replace it. We'll walk your dog or pick up your groceries if you need. Neighbors have come by. Like neighbors at every house near me right now are the ones who weren't as affected, are like cleaning out their cars or doing things. And I almost feel like I'm not doing enough, but I think it's because our damage is so bad that we have to wait for the special mitigator to come in for it even to be livable. Like our main level and upper level are fine, but the internet is out. So we don't have, which is our air conditioning is connected to the internet. The electricity on the, you know, probably shouldn't have it on. And so that's as much as we just learned, that basically we shouldn't be living in our house right now until the mitigation is done. And the insurance adjuster was saying that it might be a week or more of work from the mitigation team only after we talk to them. And the fact that we haven't even been able to get a hold of anybody to talk makes me feel like no one's going to even get to our house for the next few days. So I think the goal is I'm going to go get some boots, gloves, masks, like Pine Sol, buckets, Swiffer, sweat jets, to be able to do as much as I can with some of the people in my life who have volunteered to like take the stuff out of the basement and put it on the curb. So it's scheduling out the cleaners and the helpers, and then also picking up supplies and then getting back to my husband who's at the hotel and he's going to be working, and trying to discuss who we're going to live with come tomorrow.
Well, first of all, I want to say I'm sorry again that you have to go through all of this. I know it's a big pain, especially with such a young child that you have to take care of as well at the same time. But also thank you for, stopping in the middle of your madness that's going on in your life right now to sit and talk with me. But before we hang up, is there anything else that you wanted to mention or bring up or talk about?
I was scared because I know that historically, like, flash flooding can happen quickly. So I was scared when we saw the running water or the water, high up, right? Like, I didn't know how long we'd be safe. So I know that, like, the most important thing is that we are okay and we're safe. The firefighters were so wonderful. I guess that's, the rescuers and the people that were on call, they were so sweet to my son. They told him he was the captain of the ship, and they were putting us all at ease. And, like, I'm in my dirty pajamas. It was shower day. It was just a mess, and it was gross. And I felt it's so vulnerable, right? But I so appreciate how respectful and kind, and how much they like guided us through it. Like, okay, we're going to do this, and here we go. And then driving us, and they let my son like walk around the fire truck and look at it, and kind of just talking to him and making him feel like it was okay. It made me look braver to my son, I think, and feel braver. And so I want to give a shout out to them. I don't even know who they were, right? It was a crazy time, and you wish that you could thank the people that did it, but they're kind of, strangers to me. So thank you to them.
That was Wauwatosa resident Jessica Young, sharing her experience during this past weekend's flooding with WUWM Eric Von Fellow, Maria Peralta Ariano. If you have questions about the flooding, WUWM is here to help. Submit your question at WUWM.com, and we'll tailor our coverage to your needs.
You can find more interviews like this one by visiting WUWM.com/Lake Effect. And while you're there, subscribe to the Lake Effect Spotlight podcast.